Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Prem and Proper. Today, we will be looking back at the matches that occurred in the Premier League on January 18th and 19th, along with what happened in Week 21 of the Premier League. So let's start with the draw between Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Both sides fought for 1 point. Manchester United would start the match brightly as they created chances, but just could not convert. In the 40th minute, however, Edouard was close to giving Palace the lead against the run of play, but De Gea made a magnificent save to deny him. He had nothing to do before that save. Bruno Fernandes, however, would score in the 43rd minute to give United the lead after a great run and pass inside the box from Christian Eriksen. There were calls for a penalty from the United players in the 71st minute after an alleged foul on McTominay from Chris Richards. However, the ref did not award the penalty, which I think was the wrong call, as to me it looked like McTominay got to the ball first. De Gea made another big save in the 75th minute to deny Guehi from scoring off a corner kick. Crystal Palace were starting to cause problems for United. Casemiro would then receive a yellow card after a foul on Zaha, which meant that he was not available for the match against Arsenal. And Manchester United were thinking that they would walk away with 3 points, but Elise would score a thunderous free kick as the ball went in off the offside of the crossbar in the first minute of stoppage time. It was poor from United as Luke Shaw fouled Schlupp to give up the free kick. Zaha was very close to scoring a last-minute winner against his former club in the dying moments of the match, but former teammate Aaron Wan-Bissaka denied him with a crucial recovery. A frustrating result for United as they could have jumped to second in the Premier League with the win at that time. Their 9-game winning streak ended with this result, a decent point for Palace as they try to stay away from relegation. Now let's look at Man City's 4-2 win against Tottenham in what was an ultimately insane game to watch, but it was really fun as a neutral. Manchester City would absolutely give Tottenham a gift after a mistake from Ederson led to a goal by Kulusevski to give his side the lead in the 44th minute. It all started from a simply abysmal pass from Ederson to Rodri, who loses out to Bentancur on a high press. The loose ball fell perfectly to Kulusevski as he just simply put the ball past Ederson into the bottom right corner. And things would go from bad to worse for City. Just moments later, Emerson Royal would double the lead for Tottenham as he headed the ball into the back of the net after the ball fell to him due to a save from Ederson after Harry Kane made a great shot at goal. The Man City fans were stunned to silence and let their voices be known about City's performance in the first half, as boos for probably the first time in a while rang out at the stadium when the referee whistled for halftime. It looked hard for City to come back from this match if they were going to continue playing like they did in the first half. However, Julian Alvarez would score to put City right back in it in the 51st minute. And just minutes later, things were starting to turn around for City as Haaland would head the ball in the back of the net to tie it up. Perisic was agonizingly close to putting Tottenham back in the lead in the 59th minute, but Ederson made a remarkable save to deny him. I do not know how that ball did not go in the back of the net. That looked like it would have been a goal to me, if not for the ultimate heroics of Ederson. In the 63rd minute, Mahrez would score a terrific goal to give City the lead. A sudden turn of events from what looked like turmoil for City to now coming from behind to take the lead. In the 81st minute, there were calls for a penalty after a handball from Tottenham, but after VAR reviewed it, no penalty was given, which I think was not the correct call. However, that would not stop City, as Mahrez would score again in the 89th minute to put the icing on the cake. He has been an ultimate informed player for City recently. It was, however, horrible defending from Lenglet. A big win for City to continue chasing Arsenal for the title. They ended up being 5 points behind Arsenal after this victory. It was a good half performance from Tottenham, but they ultimately could not hold on and crumbled. A disappointing night for them as they could have climbed closer to reaching the top four. Now let's look at Liverpool's 0-0 draw against Chelsea. The struggles for these two sides continue. It looked like Chelsea could have gone off to a good start with a goal from Havertz in the 2nd minute, but after review from VAR, the goal was disallowed due to it being offside. Badi Shield could have given Chelsea the lead in the 31st minute, but Alisson made a good save to deny him. Konate was close to scoring right at the beginning of the first half after a clearance from 50 yards. Ziyech was close to scoring in the 59th minute after making a great run past many Liverpool defenders. He just could not apply the finishing touch. Mudryk, who made his debut for Chelsea, made a brilliant run and showed his quality in the 64th minute, as he was close to scoring after a great run and great skill. Gakpo had a good take in the 68th minute, but could not put enough power in the shot. Darwin Nunez had a good chance at goal in the 75th minute, but his shot went straight at Kepa. In the 82nd minute, A great opportunity was presented to Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he fluffed his lines. A good challenge from Robertson in the second minute of stoppage time denied Chukwuemeka from possibly scoring. It was a lackluster match compared to matches between these two sides in the past that have been nothing but entertaining. Liverpool, in my opinion, would be the most disappointed out of the two sides. Liverpool lacked any creativity and did not really build up their FA Cup win against Wolves, which I personally thought would build some confidence. There were little positives to take, such as Bajcetic and a clean sheet, but I ultimately believe that they could have done more in order to get the 3 points. They are now 9th in the Premier League with this result. Some concerning signs to them as they don't look like the team that everyone is accustomed to see. Chelsea, I think, will take the point at Anfield, even they too also lacked creativity. They are still 10th in the Premier League with this result. Now let's look at Leicester's 2-2 draw against Brighton. Mitoma scored a beautiful goal in the 26th minute to give Brighton the lead against Leicester. He has been a sensation for Brighton recently. I mean, he can't stop scoring. Mark Albrighton would score, however, in the 37th minute to level it up after coming on as a substitute for Castagne as he suffered an injury. The goal was checked for a possible outside after controversy and whether VAR interfered with the play, but it stood. There will be calls for penalty by the Brighton players in the 50th minute after contact was made from Leicester's Thomas on Welbeck. However, no penalty was given, which I think again was the wrong call because for me there was clear contact from Thomas. March had a great opportunity to give Brighton the lead back in the 56th minute, but he fluffed his lines. Harvey Barnes would score to give Leicester the lead from behind in the 62nd minute after he was left hanging at the back post by Brighton. And Ward would make a fantastic save in the 83rd minute to deny McAllister from scoring. It looked like Leicester could get an important 3 points here, but in the 87th minute, 17-year-old Evan Ferguson would head the ball past Ward and into the back of the net after a great ball from Estupiñán. The youngster has been in fine form for the Seagulls with 3 goals in 5 matches played. Leicester will be disappointed as it looked like they were going to get an important 3 points until that Ferguson goal. However, they will definitely take the 1 point and a decent performance as they showed resilience to come from behind. They are now 14th in the Premier League. Brighton had a chance to move to 5th in the table, but Leicester made it hard for them. They will be disappointed, but I think they will also not be too unhappy with this point, as it looked for a while that they were not going to get anything from this match. They are 6th in the Premier League. Now let's look at Villa's 1-0 win at Southampton, and Villa's rise under Emery continues. Long looked like it could have been through on goal in the 21st minute, but Emiliano Martinez did well to read the situation and clear the ball away. Kyle Walker-Peters would score in the 24th minute, but he was offside. Play was paused in the 41st minute because a drone was flying over St. Mary's Park, so players had to evacuate the field for a bit. It was bizarre scenes. Leon Bailey had a good chance to score in the 45th minute after a poor clearance from Gavin Bazunu, but he could not put enough power on the shot as it went straight at the goalkeeper. Long was close once again to scoring in the 61st minute for Southampton, but Martinez made a crucial save to deny him. James Ward-Prowse would score in the 63rd minute with what looked like to be the opening goal of the match. However, the goal would be disallowed after a review from VAR because of a foul on Jacob Ramsey. In the 77th minute, Ollie Watkins would score the winning goal for Villa off a set piece after a great cross from Douglas Luiz to find him as Watkins headed the ball into the back of the net. VAR reviewed the goal for a possible offsides, but the goal stood. It was a much-needed goal for Watkins. It was only just 4th goal of the season. A big win for Aston Villa as they are now 4 games unbeaten and are 11th in the Premier League. A big disappointment for Southampton as the win could have put them out of the relegation zone for the time being. They are instead still sitting at the bottom of the Premier League. Now let's look at West Ham's big 2-0 win against Everton. It was a big match with high stakes as the jobs of David Moyes and Frank Lampard were on the line, and ultimately, one of the managers were sacked after this match. Said Benrahma had a great chance to give West Ham the lead in the 27th minute, but Pickford made a great one-handed save to deny him. It was the first time he was tested in this match. Gerard Bowen would score in the 33rd minute to give West Ham the lead after Everton struggled to clear the corner. It was a great flick from Zuma to Bowen. The goal was checked by VAR for a possible offside, but the goal stood. He celebrated with the ball under his jersey as he and his partner are expecting twins. And just 8 minutes later, Bowen would double the lead for West Ham just before halftime, thanks to a great run and pass from Michael Antonio. It was a great transition from defense to attack. Things would go from bad to worse for Everton. Gonagay would have a great shot at goal in the 57th minute, but Fabianski was able to come up with the great save as he had to stretch to reach it. Emerson was close to making it 3-0 for West Ham and ultimately putting the game to bed, but Bickford made a great stop to tip it under the crossbar. A big chance would come just seconds later for West Ham off a corner kick, as Nyle had a free header in the box that went wide. West Ham had yet another goal-scoring chance in the 74th minute, as Declan Rice was close to finding the net. He should have, however, passed it to Gerard Bowen, as he was on a hat-trick and was running forward for support and might have been better placed. A big win for West Ham that keeps David Moyes' job secure for now as they try to avoid relegation. The dark cloud that looms over Everton's head, however, is becoming darker as they are 19th in the Premier League, sitting in the relegation zone. And the Evertonians were not afraid to express their displeasure as they held banners with messages such as "sack the board." And as I alluded to earlier, one of the managers lost their job because of this match, and that manager was Frank Lampard, as he was officially sacked on Monday by Everton. It'll be interesting to see who the club turns to now. There have been names linked such as Marcelo Bielsa, and also as well others such as Sam Allardyce. Ultimately, whoever next will manage the club, they have to really turn the ship around at Everton. They have to make the players fight for the club in order to try to stay away from relegation, as being relegated for Everton, that would be a horrible disaster for them. Now let's look at Bournemouth's 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. Forest would have a great chance to score the opening goal with a shot from Gibbs White. However, Neto made a great save to deny him. Bournemouth would then have a good chance to score in the 7th minute, as Atongo had a great shot on goal when he should have pulled the ball back to Jadon Anthony as he was making a great run into the box. Yates would score what looked like to be the opening goal in the 12th minute to give Forest the lead. However, the goal was disallowed because of an offside call. In the 28th minute, Anthony would score to give Bournemouth the lead. It would be an instant impact from Dango Ouattara, the new signing for the Cherries, that assisted the goal. A big goal as it ended Bournemouth's 4-game goal-scoring drought. Brennan Johnson put in a great ball into the box in the 52nd minute that a Nottingham player should have put their foot on and scored, but nobody was able to. It looked like Johnson could have put Forest back into this match as his shot was airing towards the bottom corner. However, Neto was able to make a good save. It looked possible as minutes went by that Bournemouth would get an important 3 points. However, Sam Surge would score in the 83rd minute to equalize. Definitely a moment he won't forget against his former club, as it was his first Premier League goal. The goal was checked by VAR for a possible offside, but the right foot of Jack Stevens played it straight on. A point is better than a loss for Bournemouth, as they have lost their last 4. However, Gary O'Neill will be disappointed that his side cannot see this match out for an important 3 points that could have sent them out of the relegation zone. They are 18th in the Premier League. A good point for Forest, as they are now on a 4-match unbeaten streak. They are 13th in the Premier League. Now let's look at Crystal Palace's 0-0 draw against Newcastle. A lot of 0-0 draws here over this past week. Miguel Almiron would have a great chance to score in the 5th minute to give Newcastle the lead after a great ball from Joe Willock, but his shot hit the net behind the goal. Joe Linton was close to scoring the opening goal for Newcastle in the 35th minute, but the ball was cleared off the line by Jordan Ayew. There was a VAR check on that shot from Joe Linton as the ball hit Mitchell's hand, but it was not enough to warrant a penalty as his hand was ultimately close to his body. Zaha would have a great chance to score in the 45th, but he tumbled into the box. He was looking for a penalty, but nothing was given. Richards would have a free header in the first minute of extra time in the first half, but he was not able to head the ball on target. Wilson would then have a chance that he should have scored on in the 52nd minute, but he did not put enough power on the header as it went straight to Guaita. In the 62nd minute, Botman would have an opportunity to score, but his header went wide. Crystal Palace had one of their best chances of the match in the 72nd minute as Mateja had a powerful shot that really tested Pope, but he was able to make a great save. Jacob Murphy would put a great ball into the box in the 88th minute that would find St. Maximin, but he was not able to make enough contact with the ball. Not an ideal result for Newcastle, as they could have strengthened their position in the top 4 with 3 points, but they will take the point, as they are now 15 games unbeaten. A good point for Palace in what has been a tricky run of games for them recently. They are 12th in the Premier League. So now let's look at Man City's 3-0 win against Wolves. City continued to put pressure on Arsenal with the big 3 points at home against Wolves. It would take a while for City to find the opener, but the opening goal would come in the 40th minute after a great cross from De Bruyne to find Haaland as he headed the ball into the back of the net. And in the 42nd minute, there was a tackle from Collins on Jack Grealish that looked to be a penalty, but no penalty would be given, which, in my opinion, was not the right call once again. Just moments later, Colin was called upon twice to make two crucial defensive actions to make sure that City did not score. In the 48th minute, City would be awarded a penalty after a foul from Neves on Gundogan. It would be Erling Haaland again as he scored from the spot in the 50th minute. Pep Guardiola's side would score a third goal after a poor mistake from Jose Sa as he passed the ball to Mahrez, who then found Haaland as he poked the ball in the back of the net. In the 62nd minute, Wolves players were looking for a penalty as they believed that Ake's hand touched the ball, but no penalty was given after a check from VAR as his arms were tight to his body. Mahrez scored what looked to be like the fourth goal for City in the 65th minute, but the flag was up. Alvarez looked like he was going to get on the score sheet in the 72nd minute, but Sa made a save to deny him. Gundogan had a big chance to score in the 79th minute with the free header in the box, but he fired it over. Podence was close to finding what could have been a consolation goal for Wolves in the 82nd minute as his shot went just wide. Pep Guardiola asked for more out of his players after their 4-2 win against Tottenham, where they came from behind, and I think he got his wish. Players such as Haaland really stood out. He now has more Premier League hat-tricks than Cristiano Ronaldo, and the same number of hat-tricks as Mo Salah, and yet he has only been in the Premier League for half a season. And yet somehow people keep questioning him. Can he do it in England? Can he do it in England? I mean, people, come on, I think we have our answer already. He is the fastest player to score 4 hat-tricks in the Premier League. Ruud van Nistelrooy did it in 65 games. Luis Suarez did it in 81 matches. Alan Shearer did it in 86 matches. And Robbie Fowler did it in 89 matches. He already has 25 goals, which is more than Heung-min Son and Mo Salah had when they won the Golden Boot with 23 goals. I mean, this guy, there's not enough adjectives to describe him. He's an immortal. It's incredible. According to the BBC, he has more goals this season than 51 teams. 51 teams. That is simply crazy across Europe's top 5 leagues. Premier League, Bundesliga, Liga, La Liga, and Serie A. It was an important win for City in order to keep up the pace with Arsenal, as they were 5 points behind Arsenal at that time. It was not an ideal result at all for Wolves. Juan Lopetegui will be disappointed, and they are now 17th in the Premier League after that result. Now let's look at Leeds United's 0-0 draw against Brentford. Just 7 seconds in, Ivan Toney had an opportunity at goal as he outmuscled Robin Koch, but his shot was nowhere near goal. Brentford had a good opportunity to score in the 36th minute, with Henry almost being able to pick a pass out to Ivan Toney as he could have had a chance to score, but Struijk made a good block to deny that from happening. Leeds' best chance of the match came in the 67th minute when Gnonto had a good shot on goal, but David Raya was able to make the save. It all started with a giveaway from Brentford's Ethan Pinnock. Both teams created chances, but they were not quality enough. Leeds will definitely be the most disappointed with this result, as they really need a win as they are looming near the relegation zone. They are now 15th in the Premier League. Brentford could have gone up to 6th with 3 points against Leeds, but a draw won't harm them as much as it harms Leeds. They are 8th in the Premier League. Now let's look at Arsenal's 3-2 win against Manchester United. Another exciting match to watch between these two sides in what was the game of the weekend. It was the first time really that I felt that both sides had put on a show in a while. In a game that was truly meaningful with where these two sides are currently at. Arsenal started the match well on the front foot as Partey had a good chance with the shot that went just wide. There was a check for a penalty after Bruno Fernandes felt like he was fouled in the 6th minute by Ramsdale, but after a check from VAR, no penalty was given. In the 17th minute, Manchester United would take the lead thanks to a thunderous strike from one of the most informed players in the Premier League, Marcus Rashford. 9 goals in 9 matches for him since the World Cup. He is having the form of his life right now. The question would then be raised was, how will Arsenal respond to being punched in the mouth? That answer would come in the 23rd minute as Arsenal would find the equalizer thanks to a great ball from Xhaka to find Nketiah at the back post to head the ball into the back of the net. It was poor defending from Wan-Bissaka to allow Nketiah to pounce. McTominay would have a good shot at goal in the 28th minute, but Ramsdale was able to stretch to make a good save. Schalke had a great chance to get into the box in the 51st minute, but Lissandro Martinez made a crunching tackle to deny him. In the 52nd minute, Saka would score a stunning long-range strike to give Arsenal the lead from behind. He was allowed time and space to shoot, and boy, did he take it well. De Gea saw it late, but you can't take away anything from that strike. Marcus Rashford would then have a great chance to find an equalizer for United with a great shot that could have found the back of the net in the 54th minute. In the 59th minute, however, Argentina World Cup winner Lisandro Martinez would head the ball in the back of the net to put United back in it. Ramsdale made a mistake rush out of his goal as he pushed the ball straight to Martinez to allow him to score. It was Martinez's first Premier League goal of the season. Bukayo Saka was excruciatingly close to giving Arsenal the lead back in the 69th minute as a shot hit the bar. Nketiah would have a great chance in the 83rd minute to score, but David De Gea made a remarkable save. There would start to be worry from Arsenal fans on whether they could find a winner. However, right at the death, Nketiah would steer home Odegaard's strike at the back post. There was a check from VAR on whether the goal was offside, but after a review from VAR, it stood. And at the final whistle, the fans erupted in what was a brilliant atmosphere at the Emirates. It was a big day for Arsenal. Players such as Nketiah and Saka really were the stars of the show. And we really have to give credit to Nketiah. There were doubts on whether he could fill in for Jesus while he has been out due to injury. But he has really stepped up to the plate, and when Gabriel Jesus comes back from injury, Mikel Arteta will really have a tough decision on his hand, because how can he bench Nketiah in the form that he is currently in right now? This result showed Arsenal's character. When Arsenal look back at this result, it could be a defining moment for them. They were punched in the mouth at times, but they were resilient and never backed down. They kind of remind me of the old Liverpool in that sense, mentality monsters. The Gunners continue flying high in first place, 5 points above City with a game in hand. It was a game Arsenal knew they had to win in order to keep control at the top, and they did. United put on a good test for Arsenal and showed how they are maybe on the right track to where they should ultimately be as a club. However, it was not enough. They are fourth in the Premier League. Fulham and Tottenham. This was a 1-0 away win for Tottenham. It was a much-needed 3 points for Tottenham after back-to-back losses in the Premier League. Fulham started the game well as they put great pressure on Tottenham. Decorativa Reid had the first shot of the match in the 9th minute, but Lloris was able to make a comfortable save on it. Harrison Reed would make a great run to the box in the 18th minute, but his shot went straight at Lloris. Tottenham's first shot on target would come in the 35th minute from Emerson Royale. Willian would have a great shot on target in the 40th minute, as Fulham were beginning to find the groove that they had in the first 25 minutes, but Lloris was able to make a good save to deny him. Fulham had a good free kick in the 41st minute that tested Tottenham's defense, as a great ball from Pereira was delivered to Paulinho, but he was not able to make enough contact with his header. Tottenham would get their goal in the first minute of additional time right before the end of the first half from who else but Harry Kane. His back facing the goal, but he was able to take a touch to get away from Tim Ream as he calmly placed the ball into the far corner. It was a special goal for Kane, his 266th goal for Tottenham. This goal equaled Jamie Greaves' club record of also 266 goals. One more goal and Kane will have a new club goal-scoring record. Kane was very close to having that moment, but Leno made a good save to deny him. Mitrovic was sent in the great ball from Tom Kearney later on in that match, but he cannot head the ball towards goal. It was not the best performance from Tottenham by any stretch, but they got the win. Fulham will feel hard done as for large parts of the match, they were the better team and they could have gone up to 6th place with the win, but they were outdone by one moment of quality. It is now 2 straight losses for Marco Silva's side. Going back to Tottenham, they are now 5th in the Premier League with this result. Now that wraps up a crazy recap of what has gone on in the Premier League recently. Thank you very much to everybody who has listened to these podcasts, and I will see you later.